Ok, continuamos con la segunda parte que estuvo buena de la primera. De estas morras que prefieren vivir en el delirio que pues bajar sus estándares y empezar a vivir en la realidad, ¿no? Como es, como tiene que ser. Pero bueno, obviamente no están dispuestas a hacerlo. Veamos.
Now here's my question to you. If that dude comes along, do you think he wants an agreeable woman or a non-agreeable, disagreeable woman? That dude with our $100 million.
What do you want?
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, you better agree.
Now, I'm not saying vanity can't be used to motivate healthy behaviors. But if you're so full of vanity and conceit that it shows, you're telling the world that you can't be trusted. Vanity causes obsession. If you're obsessed with yourself, then that's the only person you truly care about. Conceited people can't be counted on. They're untrustworthy. And the modern woman's vanity is one of the many reasons why men simply don't want to date in the first place.
Eso explica mucho cuando te encuentras una chica de estas con este tipo de personalidad. Tiene toda la razón, o sea, si ellas solamente se preocupan por ellas, si la vanidad está en primer lugar, no le importa a nadie, güey. O sea, no le importa a nadie más que ella. Entonces, así se va a comportar. Eso es lo que va a transmitir. Eso es lo que va a proyectar hacia el mundo exterior. ¿Okay? No le importas tú. No le importan las relaciones. No le importa construir nada contigo. No le importas tú. Solo que lo único que le importa es ella. Es el detalle. Es la realidad para estos personajes, ¿no? Porque tú lo puedes ver. O sea, estas chicas, por ejemplo, las del gym. O sea, tienen tanta atención. Bueno, no necesariamente en el gym. Todos lados. Redes sociales en general. Las modelos de Instagram o las modelos de la página azul, se preocupan tanto por su vanidad que es lo único que importa. No importa nada más, güey. Entonces ya cuando pasan el muro, ahora sí quieren que alguien las valore, las respete, las tome en cuenta, que les propongan matrimonio. Pero ¿cómo, güey? Si no han construido, no han desarrollado esa habilidad de compartir, de estar con alguien, de construir una relación. No saben hacerlo.
Here's some crazy research for you. So, a third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. Fact. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments
Al 2030, las mujeres entre 20 y 35 años proyectan a estar solteras. Escucha bien, de 20 a 35 años. ¿Qué quiere decir? Que ese time frame, que en el muro que ahora está a los 30, va a bajar. Se los estoy diciendo. Eso es lo que yo he estado proyectando hace tiempo. Va a bajar, güey. Ese se ve. Es muy evidente que el muro va a bajar. Ahorita ya, en lo que yo he estado viendo, morras de 23, ya con pedos, ya con gatos, o sea, con pedos acá, con gatos, y ya la personalidad ya apesta, a los 23, ¿ok? Eso quiere decir que ya está bajando, o sea, el muro ya dejó de ser de los 30 hace mucho tiempo, siempre ha sido los 25, nomás que le damos, como les he dicho, les damos esa prórroga por buena onda. De 26 a 30, de 26 a 29 se les da esa prórroga, pero en realidad siempre ha sido a los 25, ¿ok? Pero poco a poco va a ir bajando. Para el 2030, completamente el muro va a ser a los 20, ¿ok? Y estaba viendo ahí unos comentarios, ahí también otros canales tontos, que dicen que quieren llevar lo que yo digo a otro lado. O sea, quieren ahí poner palabras que no son. Okay, que el mamazota 16, que no sé qué, güey. El muro está bajando, güey. El muro está bajando. Al rato solamente vas a tener edades entre pues, 18 y 20 años para escoger las morras. De 18 a 20. Okay, y 20 ya va a ser muy grande. Es increíble, pero es verdad. Eso es lo que está pasando. Okay, esa es la realidad.
are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner.
Men want women that are feminine, kind, polite, compassionate, nurturing, and cooperative. Many modern women lack these basic qualities, but are also devoid of accountability, modesty, loyalty, honesty, integrity, respect, and trustworthiness.
That escalated quickly.
Being a masculine, disagreeable boss girl, dressing provocatively, being a heavy drinker with tattoos, face piercings, and a high body count are qualities that won't allow many men to view them as marriageable or even relationship worthy.
I've just discovered the reason why it's so hard to find a good guy dating in 2023. And it's not because there aren't any left and that all men are disgusting and all men are trash. That is completely false, no matter what you hear from other girls on TikTok. The truth is that the good guys are done with dating. They would rather be single and have their peace than be in a relationship and not be treated correctly. They're done playing the games, okay? Girls not being monogamous, them not texting them back, them giving them mixed signals, them opening up and sharing their feelings, and then a girl breaking up with them. They don't want to deal with that. They'd rather work a lot, go home, play some video games, watch a movie, and spend time with their dog or themselves than ever have to deal with women. I just want to know which one of you ladies messed it up for everyone, because dating out here is so hard.
I like this one.
It's not any one woman who's responsible. Our culture of convenience has paradoxically made dating more difficult for men, as we're forced into a hyper-competitive, superficial environment that emphasizes instant gratification over true human connection.
Sounds reasonable.
While there are several potential culprits causing this relationship breakdown, nothing has done more damage to the dating landscape than dating apps, social media, and online adult content.
The people need their bread and circuses.
The balance between men and women on Tinder is as follows: 80% men and 20% women. Now, Tinder know that if those 20% of women leave the app and that number goes to 0, they no longer have a business model. They no longer have a way to get you to pay for Tinder Gold. And as a result, Tinder puts you into a ranking system where they rank you against every other man on the app so that they can show the 0.001% of men who look like male models to that 20% of women to convince them to stick around. But where that puts you as a man is as follows. If you haven't invested hundreds of dollars into getting several really fabulous photo shoots under your belt, if you're not hitting the gym 5 to 6 days a week, if you don't have your physical appearance in order, if you don't know how to present yourself online, if you don't have a perfectly written bio, you will literally not show up in front of any woman's profile. You will begin to think that you are unworthy of a relationship, and you will get more and more depressed as a result.
Bingo.
We're in a crisis of...
Por eso no recomendamos aplicaciones de citas, porque incluso esas aplicaciones están diseñadas para el beneficio de las mujeres, ¿ok? Tienes que tener un perfil bien chingón y presentar lo mismo que presentarías en persona, es que presentarlo ahí online. La diferencia es que para mí, a mi punto de vista, para mí eso es de perezosos, que no quieren realmente hacer el trabajo de tener una conexión cara a cara, ¿ok? Para poder llamar la atención de la chica. Porque igual, sí, está bien el valor, el estatus, pero lo más importante es el game.
Connection. Disconnection from ourselves and disconnection from each other. And it's getting worse. Another culprit is the lack of rules around dating.
If a woman rejects a man, how should he know whether or not to keep trying?
Her body language.
I just think you should not keep trying.
Yeah, if she rejects you, you should not keep trying.
Yeah. He asked for my number, and I was like, no. And then later on, like, he tried it, and I was like, whatever.
Oh, so he was persistent. He didn't give up.
Yeah, he wasn't that persistent, but like the third time he tried, I was like, all right, we could go on a date.
That doesn't make sense.
This is why dating can be confusing. There are no clear rules to the pursuit of a relationship. Unless, of course, you're Chad.
Please don't catcall me unless you're attractive. Unless you're a 7, 8, 9, or 10. If you're a 10, you're probably not catcalling. But don't do it. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that unless you're sexy.
We're all
So maybe the rules are simple, in that the more attractive you are, the less they apply to you.
Have you ever rejected a man specifically to test his determination to winning you over?
Of course. I love the chase. I love the chase.
No.
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Say why, so they know.
Because it's fun. It's a game.
That's up.
Las mismas morras que acaban de decir. Si una morra te rechaza, no deberías de seguirla. Ahora, les cambian la pregunta. ¿Lo has hecho solamente por ponerlo a prueba? Sí, porque es divertido. My God. Oh my God. ¿Quién las entiende?
Have you ever rejected a man specifically to test his determination to winning you over?
Yes. 100%.
So then how does no always mean no?
It doesn't.
Oh.
No can mean yeah.
What? Well, that's confusing.
No can mean yeah, and yeah can mean no. Just depends on how you say it.
Your yes means nothing unless you can say no. If a woman seems romantically uninterested, the safe and sensible option is to assume her lack of interest is genuine. If she sets a boundary, it's best to respect it and move on.
You better not be saying what I think you're saying.
Because there are two types of man in the world. Those that are controlled by their reproductive system and those that are controlled by their brain. The latter usually lead better lives.
When men are alone and single, it's something we should all worry about. Men make fun of us, but we should be serious and careful and nice about it. We should take their feelings into consideration and all do something about it because it's an actual problem. Woo! Women, on the other hand, they can die alone with their cats.
A crazy cat lady? That's right.
In the romantic sphere, women being single and lonely is seen to be more of a choice, brought about by unrealistic standards and extreme pickiness, fueled by the rationalization hamster. Men can be single, lonely, and have zero romantic options for just being average.
Finally, someone who gets it.
And there's plenty of evidence that shows that men are more likely to engage in risky and violent behaviors when they lack a stable relationship, leading to higher crime rates, substance misuse, and social unrest.
What?
Single men may also be less invested in building strong social networks, leading to isolation and a lack of community engagement. Simply put, the breakdown of relationships between men and women is startling, and it's detrimental to a healthy society. But few women recognize male loneliness as a real problem.
So apparently there's a male loneliness epidemic right now.
It's so sad. Maybe if they just smiled more.
We don't care. The women don't care. Because we've decided as a majority that we're going to live like golden girls. That's what we're doing. You men should get together and talk about that. Solve it. I'll give you a hint. It's therapy. Because you're the worst.
These clips are just two of many, where women on TikTok display their understanding of the male loneliness epidemic.
For men, shame is not a bunch of competing, conflicting expectations. Shame is one. Do not be perceived as what? Weak. I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, "I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men." And I said, "I don't study men." And he said, "That's convenient." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters?" I said, "Yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down." When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us.
True.
Oof.
And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else.
Goddamn right.
Men showing vulnerability is often perceived as weakness. This is problematic, as not seeking help when needed or admitting areas for improvement inevitably leads to mistakes and less development.
Aquí la importancia de no mostrarle tantas emociones o tanta vulnerabilidad a las mujeres. ¿Okay? Cuando ellas te lo piden que lo hagas, no tienes por qué hacerlo. Es más, no es de escuchar lo que ellas te pidan que hagas. ¿Okay? Digo, eso no significa que no les hagas caso del todo. Simplemente, si ellas te piden algo, trata de ser un poquito playful. O sea, no se lo des tal cual así directo. Oh, sí, mi amor, directamente. No, porque no va a funcionar. Okay. A lo mejor funcionará en ese momento para complacerla, pero ya sabes que complacerla, ¿a dónde te va a llevar?
Traditionally, for men to be masculine, we're expected to display attributes such as strength, power, and competitiveness, and less openly display emotion, and certainly never weakness. There's a high burden of performance placed on men, but this burden is carried in silence.
He ain't lying.
In addition, many women assume a husband should be at her beck and call. This is typically a man who she feels she can control. He's like a plow horse or hired help and should carry out all of her demands, and further, should possess mind-reading abilities and know exactly what she's thinking and what she wants.
Yes, exactly.
Yet sometimes, whatever he does, it's never enough. His first and sometimes only obligation in life is to her, and like a child, needs to ask for permission to do anything. Unfortunately, many men work long and hard to financially support a woman who, ultimately, does not love nor respect him and is not even sexually attracted to him. The life of the beta male provider sounds like a lonely one.
Most men will only experience unconditional love from their mothers, and some of us don't even get that. Most of us have never even felt appreciation or respect without conditions or hidden intentions. We don't know what it sounds like to hear, "I see you, and I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're here. You really make a difference." Yet the expectation is to constantly be displaying the strength and love that the world is hesitant in conveying. We're expected to have a thick skin but get judged if it turns to a hard shell. The first step in being a man is ignoring the hunger. Cause yes, boy, you're gonna be starving. Starved of attention, starved of affirmation, starved of love, starved of being told that you are enough. Step 2 in being a man is comfortability with replaceability. You are only as good as you are useful. You are only as valuable as you are needed by others. Should there ever come a day, boy, where you fail to provide everybody with a smiling face, then do not be surprised when they say all men do is take up space, and you are swiftly replaced. Step 3 in being a man is overcoming your fear of the fire, because almost everything you will ever try to build will go up in flames. Relationships, careers, hobbies, and yes, you are always to blame. Step 4 in being a man is understanding by the time you finally get all the right answers, these questions will have already changed. You might achieve the strength of Herculean fiction, trying to balance the weight of all these contradictions. Be a man, they say. Definition unknown. Description keep changing. We men, so empty, so irritable, so this, so that. We get told where we are so much we've accepted that who we are ain't even up to us. The blame is always on us regardless. One guilty man's actions requires an innocent man's explanation. Otherwise, you're all guilty by gender association.
The section where he says, most of us have never even felt appreciation, reminds me of how rare it is for some men to receive any type of positive engagement. They hold on to compliments and kindness in a way that's similar to this clip here. But the poem as a whole puts me in mind of the book Taking Responsibility by Nathaniel Branden, who stated the importance that men understand that no one's coming to save you. Essentially, he's saying we're on our own, which is not something to weep over, but rather just a simple truth. If you're blessed, you might have a family that cares about you. If you're particularly lucky, maybe friends too. Other than that, as a man, you'll likely have nothing. It's perform or fail. That's all anyone cares about. You need to remember to take care of yourself because no one else will. And more importantly, no one, besides your closest friends and family, wants to. No one's coming to save you because they're too busy saving themselves. This might sound bleak, but it allows you to navigate the world more intelligently. It's important to recognize this because it better stops you from feeling lonely and falling into a state of victimhood. It's easy to adopt a victim mindset because the benefits of doing so lead to a lack of accountability. Being accountable for your life means you're in the driver's seat, which can be scary to someone who has a victim mentality. You'd have to admit life isn't just the result of the actions of others. Taking responsibility bursts the protective bubble of victimhood. Some people's problems continue because of the secondary benefits of adopting a victim mindset, such as sympathy, attention, and validation from constantly playing the poor me card. And projecting blame on others is a key part of the victim mentality. To overcome this, you must stop viewing yourself as a victim, because the victim mentality is learned behavior. You must take responsibility, since you're the only one who controls your actions. You might not be able to control others, but you can control how you react to them. Read books about the victim mentality and how it affects your life. The more you educate yourself on the topic, the more likely you are to stay on track with your recovery and avoid going back to a negative way of thinking.
The credit goes to the man in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and blood and sweat. But when he's in the arena at best, he wins, and at worst he loses. But when he fails, when he loses, he does so daring greatly.
Y esa es la razón por la cual muchos hombres prefieren, pues sí, güey, estar solos, para evitarse todo ese tipo de situaciones, detalles, problemas con estos personajes, porque ellas viven en el delirio, se aíslan solas y bueno, los hombres pues prefieren alejarse de ellas. ¿Para qué estar ahí? ¿Para qué estar ahí aguantando eso? Drama, problemas. Dice, no, los hombres sí podemos decir que sí estamos solos por elección. Ellas no pueden decir eso.